Okay, have a good one. Be welcome. Thank you for coming and joining to your English class. Let's see. For tonight, we have to begin the class, as always, reading the versicle for this week. In this time, we have Proverbs 8:12, according to the New International Version. It says to us, I wisdom do well together with prudence. I possess knowledge and discretion. Okay, please hear it one more time. Proverbs 8:12. I wisdom do well together with prudence. I possess knowledge and discretion. Well, as you can see, in this case, New International Version in English and in Spanish is the same. It's like a literal transcription. But pay attention for the word. In this case, we have prudence. Prudence is the word for us in this week. Okay, for tonight we are going to take a look for these words in dictionary.com. Okay, here we go. Pay attention. We go to dictionary.com and we are going to take a look for prudence. Okay, we have prudence and we go to the definition. We are going to change for the IPA form. And as you can see, it's one word with two syllables. The first syllable is from the letter P to letter D and is the stress syllable, is the stress. Remember, is a stress syllable. Why is a stress syllable? Because we need to use more force in the voice. It's like strong, prod. And then we are going to take a look for the second syllable. But pay attention, because for the second syllable, we are going to use just the N and the C zone. In this case, the C is like an unvoiced S, and we have here S, ends, prudence. That means that this E is mute and this another E is mute. We are not going to make a pronunciation for this one or maybe for this one. If you remember, in some words, when the letter E is apart for the other syllables, we normally use the schwa zone, but in this case is not schwa, is mute. Is mute, this one, and this another is to mute. Prudence. Okay, this is for the pronunciation of the word. That we have here for definition. The third one, I think, is the most clearly the quality or fact of being prudent. Okay, that means that prudent is the adjective. It's an adjective. I am prudent, you are prudent, he or she is prudent. Is like an adjective, but in this case is the noun. We are talking about the prudence. Okay, or maybe can be wise in practical affairs. Well, this is the definition. Number one, caution with regard to practical matter like discretion. Okay, but in this case, I wanna go for the orange of the word. Pay attention for this because it's a word that comes from 13th centuries, and is from Middle English. But at the time, the Middle English goes to the Middle French. That means that the English took this word from the French. And at the same time, the French took this word from the Latin. And this is the word in Latin. Okay, for this, if we take a look, for example, for the writing in Spanish, in English, and in French, for this word is the same, because for all this language is the orange goes to the Latin. Okay, for tomorrow, we are going to take a look for another translation to the English for this versicle for Proverbs 8:12. And we are going to take a little look about the changing in the word. In another translation, you are not going to find prudence in the Bible. Maybe it's another word. Yes, because that comes from Latin. Well, and some translators says, hey, it's like, I don't like Latin. I want to use another word, another English, or maybe Anglo-Saxon word. Well, we are going to leave over here the versicle for this day. Now, tell me, there is some people that hasn't made, I have some of you that haven't made your presentation about a famous. Tell me, who want to make this presentation for tonight? Tonight is the last time. Ok, de los que tengo pendientes, ¿verdad? Para la presentación de su famoso, hoy sería pues ya el último día para hacer su participación, ¿verdad? Quisiera saber si hay alguien que vaya a hacerla. Ok, nobody. Well, bueno.
Mister,
Yeah, tell me.
I don't much practicing. A ver cómo me sale, Mister.
Ok,
Ahí le mandé a su WhatsApp.
ok.
Sí, me ayuda a proyectar.
Just try it. Let's see. Okay, come on, Cinia, I know you can do it.
Yes. Edward Christopher Sheeran, no was Sheeran. Sheeran was born on February the 17th in 1991 in Halifax, West Yorkshire, in the United Kingdom. When he was young, he began playing guitar, showing a natural musical talent. When he was 11, Sheeran met singer Daniel Rice in the backstage and one arrived shows and the young musician found other inspiration after that Sheeran set out to write his own music. Um, it wasn't it wasn't long before Sheeran was recording CDs and selling them when he was uh, for 14 years old. Sheeran went to London for the summer, seeking his husband gigs in the big city. Sheeran left home with his guitar and a backpack full of clothes, and his music career began. Once in London, Sheeran quickly released two albums after Hitler recording and 206 one song and 207 as a result. Sheeran played more than 300. Um, Nowadays, Sheeran is recorded one of the best artists and songwriters with his classical acoustic guitar.
Okay, thank you so much, Cinia. You don't just remember about the pronunciation for some words. For example, we have this. This is for in England. Yorkshire. Yorkshire. Okay, and let's see another word you have to practice is for the past tense. You remember when we have letter T or letter D in a word, is better to say added like id pronunciation added. And what more? We have here another pronunciation for, in this case, for example, when we are talking about the hundred, 100, 200, 300, dreed, the ending is with id zone. Id zone is not the ed. For example, if I say 300, it's wrong. You are wrong because you are saying ed, and the pronunciation is not that. The pronunciation is with the ending id. 300, 300, 400, 500, dreed at the ending. And this last word, nowadays. No, like oh, no, Dashua, days. Nowadays is like currently, is like actually, is like in at the moment. Well, thank you so much, Simia, for your
Thank you, Mister.
participation. Well, let's see. Somebody else want to make the participation? Naomi, are you ready?
Teacher, can you give me 1 second?
Okay, sure, no worries. Let's see. Recuerden que los que estén pendientes, hoy es el último día para hacer sus participaciones, ¿verdad? Esta participación me va a servir para la nota que tengo que entregar del mes de agosto, ¿verdad? Que ya me retrasé un poquito para entregar la nota. Pero con eso se va a cerrar su nota del mes de agosto. Si hay alguien más pendiente y se apunta para hacerlo hoy, me avisa, ¿verdad? Tendría ahorita a Naomi, también tengo pendiente a Doralicia, pero hoy no ha venido. Bueno, me indica Naomi cuando esté lista.
Okay. I sent a picture in your...
Here is
Okay, yeah. Okay, Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King, Atlanta, 29 in Memphis. 1968, American Baptist pastor, the friend of the civil rights signs. 1955, the long struggle of Black Americans to achieve full rights has since in acceleration in whose leadership the young pastor Martin Luther King would soon stand out. His non-violent action inspired by the example of Gandhi, mobilized a growing proportion of the African American community, culmination in the summer of 1963 in the historic March of Washington. Washington brought together to 1,500 protesters there at the foot of the Lincoln Memorial. Martin Luther King delivered the most famous and moving of his splendid speeches now. Note for the formula that led the vision of the just the world I have a dream.
okay. Thank you, Naomi. Excellent. Your presentation about Martin Luther King Jr. Okay, very nice. Well, it's somebody else, alguien más que esté pendiente con su participación.
Me, teacher.
Okay, so said, do you have a picture or a photo?
Actually, yes, I have a word, but I don't know how I can send you. I will talk about Patrick Swayze, but I don't know if I should to share the screen. I
Yes.
don't know.
No, you can do it from your device.
Okay. Mm, Can you see it?
Yes, we can take a look for it.
I will talking about Patrick Swayze. Patrick Wayne Swayze, this is his full name. He born in Houston, Texas, in United States in August 18 in 1952, and he died in September 14, 2009. Was an American actor, dancer, and singer known for playing distinctive lead role, particularly romantic too and comedic characters. He was also known for his media imaging and looks. Let me see. I think that I confused them. Looks, people amazing names. Swice, the sexiest man and alive in 1991. Just 1 second. Swines received 3 nominations for the Golden Globes Award for the Best Lead Actor in a Motion Picture Comedy of Musical. This was for his role in the romance film Dirty Dancing in 1987 and the thriller film Ghost in 1990. I think that is the most famous film of him. And the road comedy film to One for Things for Everything, Julie Newmar in 1995. He also acted in famous action films such as Road, Home in 1989, and Point Break in 1991. I think that was a movie he worked with what is his name? The other very famous actor. I forget it. I'm sorry. Ken Reeves. Yes, it's true. It was amazing, and that is a very good movie actually. He was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1997. And Swice co-worked the recovered the popular song She Likes the Wind. And I think that movie was the soundtrack in the movie Dirty Dancing. I'm not sure, but I think so. And it was posthumously awarded the Rolex Dance Award in 2012. And 2009, Swice died of pancreatic cancer at the age 57.
Okay, very nice. So complete your information about Patrick Swayze. There is something interesting in your document, and is the pronunciation according to the IPA for his last name. You can take a look in this part. You have Swayze.
Swayze.
Okay, is the pronunciation for this? And I think this information comes from Wikipedia. I know.
Yeah.
Okay. In Wikipedia, we are going to find this pronunciation with the IPA system for some not common nouns from the people. For example, it can be for not common first name or maybe a not common last name. And Wikipedia use the IPA system to say to us how to pronounce in the correct
Oh,
way these names. Thank you so much, Suzette. Good done.
thank you. Let me see how I can go out of this. Um, I don't
Okay, no
know.
worries. No worries.
Sorry.
No worries.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm gonna do it for you. No worries. Well, thank you so much. Somebody else, alguien más que quiera hacer su participación? No, no one?
Me, teacher,
Okay,
but I have a problem with share the screen.
ok. ¿Puede enviarme su documento, la imagen? ¿O me dice a quién va a presentarnos? Okay, I reside your picture. Just, okay, nice. Well, let's see. We are going to hear something about Nirvana. Come on.
Good night. I'm going to tell about Kurt Donald Cobain. Kurt Donald Cobain was born on February 20, 1967, in the small logging town of Aberdeen, Washington. As a child, Cobain was artistic and had a need of music. Although he had a younger sister, Kim, the two were separated when their parents got divorced. At age 9, Cobain went to live with his father, who eventually remarried, which put more strain on their relationship. When Cobain was introduced to punk rock music, a seed was planted that would forever change his life. He discovered the Melvins, a local punk rock group, and became friends with one of its members, Buzz Osborne. He exposed Cobain to more punk bands, but his newfound interest didn't take Cobain away from self-destructive habits. Around 1987, Cobain began his first serious relationship with a young woman named Tracy Marander. In 1988, starting musical ambitions began moving forward. His band agreed on the name Nirvana and released their first track, Love Buzz, on a small label. The band was making headway in the serious music scene. In 1990s, their romantic relationship would develop later. In February in 1992, Cobain got married and had a daughter, Frances Bean. On April 5 in 1994, in the guest house behind his settled home, at 27 years old, Cobain committed suicide. He placed a shotgun into his mouth and fired, killing himself instantly. He left a lengthy suicide note in which he addresses his many fans as well as his wife and young daughter. Only that.
Okay, thank you so much. It's very good done. Hey, I think we have to talking about something and it's interesting because knowing about the death for this singer, this rock singer at 27 years. And we have to know, maybe you know about something, but at first I want to know, there is something else we want to do this activity for tonight. Hago el último llamado, alguien más que quiera hacer la actividad de su presentación. Nobody? Nobody else? Okay, well, this is interesting because I don't know if you hear before about something interesting for this famous, but there is something if we take a look. For example, we can find something about the 27 Club. I don't know if you hear about that 27 Club in some time or somewhere. But here we have, for example, let's take a look in Wikipedia. We can find 27 Club is a list of mostly popular musician, artists, and actor celebrities who died at the age of 27. All these famous have in common thing that they passed away at 27 and they be famous, and it's called like the 27 Club. Is a cultural phenomenon according to this, maybe for use of drugs or alcohol or another things that they go to make suicide, or maybe or another thing. We have here some grades of the rock singers like Brian Jones from AC/DC, Jimi Hendrix, another one, and Janis Joplin, another rock singer. Jim Morrison is another that is in this group, and Kurt Cobain, it's for the 90s. And we have go, for example, to Robert Johnson is another one. And if we go to the most recent, we are going to find, for example, in this case, Amy Winehouse, okay, is another one. And we can go, for example, to another for that 27 Club, like it's called in English. And we can take a look this another information for the Rolling Stone. It's a magazine that call, and we have this article, for example, we have they was so famous, and for some reason maybe they suicide, or maybe for the drug consumption, the alcohol, and other things that make for these people to be in this club. It's something interesting. Maybe we don't know. Some people say this is because they sell their soul to the evil, and for that they get so famous so fast, and the evil comes and say, well, you are going to be famous, but you are going only live 27 years, okay, and you are going to die, and then I will take your soul. Well, something like this, but I don't know that is true, but it's interesting to read about this. It's so curious about many of these men, of these women was up famous. They was nicest artist, nicest singers, musician, but they died at 27 years old. That is common, and for that they belongs to the 27 Club. Okay, well, let's see. Do you remember yesterday we was doing one activity from the famous, because we're talking about celebrities or famous people. And now we are going to continue with this activity. We are going to finish. Well,
sort of an epidemic in our society today is that everybody thinks that if they become famous somehow, either on Vine or Twitter or YouTube or on any of these talent shows, or if they become famous, they're finally going to be happy.
I don't think any.
Okay, do you remember about the first one? Cameron Diaz say that being famous means that you will finally be happy. That's true or false?
I remember that.
It's false. She is being sarcastic. That's say.
I don't
yes.
think anyone
Well,
who's in the public eye can ever truly get used to it. It's always a bit like a video game.
okay, do you remember what is the meaning for get used to it?
The second one.
Okay, be accustomed to it.
Video game.
Fame is placed very high on the list of things that are important to our, especially, I mean, the whole world, but especially in the States, you know? Like, it's really above, like, wealth. Like, it's above happiness. It's just fame. Pop up. Are you looking at me? Are you looking at me? Are you looking at me? Like, it's a constant. It doesn't feel good all the time, in case people think that that's like, trust me, you need a lot more.
Okay, fame is
The third one.
more important than wealth. Okay,
More.
Stay away from anything that makes a bunch of people stare at you while you're in a restaurant.
okay, do you remember the wars? The third one was stay away from anything that make people, and the second is stare. Oh, sorry, I make a typewriter error here.
Or makes them follow you in cars and motorcycles back to your hotel.
But the strangest thing happened. As the show got more successful, I got more depressed. And I kind of had to keep that to myself. The circle of people to whom you can complain about being on a hit television show is unsurprisingly small.
Okay, do you remember? People whom being, about being, okay?
Fame is different than what people think. Being famous is like living in a big, pretty prison. It really is. You can't do anything, you know. I can't go to the park. You know, I can't take my grandkids or kids and go to the park. Because all I'm going to do is take pictures. And my kids hate that. That's why when you get money, you got to buy all that stuff. Your house got to be big. Man, why you got the big-ass house? Because, shit, I can't go nowhere. I'm not complaining. It's just the way it is.
Okay, he is not complaining, and is the reason he lives in a big house, because he can go to anywhere because he is very famous. Okay, well, let's go to number 7.
Before the X Factor, I was self-medicating quite a bit just to get through that sort of stuff, and like the depression of not being where I perhaps wanted to be. And then when the show came around, and it happened so quickly, I probably wasn't prepared for the level of scrutiny and the level of attention that comes with that.
When they really want to make...
Okay, what do you think? What he say?
He was depressed because of fame.
Because of the fame. No, it's not. That is not true. It's another thing.
I chose the second one.
This is one. Took drugs, like the 27 Club. They get famous, and maybe for controlling the pressure, they took drugs. And what more?
He was prepared.
He wasn't prepared for that. He wasn't prepared for be famous. Okay, for the pressure, for the public, or the paparazzi, whatever. Okay, come on. Okay, it's an explaining, self-medicated, like taking drugs. He was depressed because he wasn't famous yet. Okay, and when the show came around like a sausage, he wasn't prepared for it.
When they really want to make you crazy in prison war camp or anywhere, they put you in isolation, right? The thing I realized, the second you become famous, you're kind of in a weird isolation. People want to know why famous people marry other famous people so often or something like that, you know? It's because they're in ISO with them.
Sometimes it feels...
Okay, what is not one of the key points we have here? Famous people married to other famous people. Isolation made you crazy. Famous couples feel like they are in prison. And it's worse being in prison than being famous. It's not. This one of these is not, okay? It's worse being in prison than being famous. All that's the rest is that he said to us. Okay, sorry, time is over. We don't have more time. Thank you for coming. I wait you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody, and take care.
Bye, teacher.
Goodbye, teacher.
Goodbye, have a good one. Take care, everybody. Bye.